Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining Dottie San Martin and myself, Nephew, on another episode of Seeds of Success. Now, today, Dottie and I want to chat a little bit about time, because time is something we all wish we had a little more of, right, Dottie?
That is absolutely for sure. And Jay, especially in the bowling industry, there are so many advantages to being able to kind of transition your guests from what traditionally has been known in this industry of going in and bowling a game of bowling, but transitioning to a time-based experience has a number of advantages, and especially, as we're in the midst of a pandemic, there's a number of additional reasons that comes into play. So that's kind of what we want to talk about today is, how to really get time on your side, if you will. So let's just start out. One of the main things is having a time-based experience allows you to really manage your lanes more efficiently.
It does, because you're selling a block of time versus a game of bowling, and I'm putting the onus on the customer to manage their own time when I sell them a game of bowling. So if I say, we're going to bowl 2 games, I don't know how long that's going to take them. If they have a little tiny kid who needs to roll 2 balls every time with a ramp, that's a lot longer than an adult bowler who might strike every 3 or 4 frames. So that there's a variable there with a non-time entity. And with time bowling, you're selling them, you can do as much as you want on your lane in this amount of time for X number of dollars. It's pretty conclusive, it's pretty inclusive and pretty well defined.
Absolutely. And Jay, the other thing about that with today's situation, it also gives you the ability to rethink your packages and so on and so forth. Recently, we had a proprietor on Beyond the Frame, and they shared that they have modified some of their packages, or most of their packages, to be quite honest. They are a time-based center, but they've modified those packages to be a shorter duration. So a 1-hour package versus what used to be maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Or 2 hours, right.
And the reason being is their occupancy rate is diminished. And we all know that everybody is wanting to get out of the house and everybody would love to enjoy a little entertainment. But when centers are restricted by the number of lanes they have available, then it makes it difficult when you have customers that come in and they've got a 3-hour block of time. You're not able to serve as many customers. So by reducing that duration of the time that you're selling, it allows you to provide a service and an experience to more customers. So there's an advantage there as well.
Well, there is. And, you bring up a good point, Dottie, because in the entertainment industry, let's say you are a restaurant, right? The whole key to increasing revenue in a restaurant, you can do it 2 ways. You can charge more for your food, or you can figure out a way to turn those tables more often throughout the night, right? So a lot of these newer food models have the order at the counter and go sit down and pick up your food when it comes. And it's more of a self-serve thing. Well, they're flipping their tables a lot more than a traditional restaurant is. And that's fine. The people are looking for different things. But, with this latest version of the pandemic that has thrown all these curveballs at us with certain types of restrictions and whatnot, moving to a time-based scenario and having a system that allows you to manage that effectively is really key to maximizing your revenue, in my opinion.
Absolutely. The other thing that it does, Jay, is it makes it really easy. Nowadays, it's not, it's expected that you have the ability to be able to reserve your experience online and stuff.
It is expected, no matter what you're doing.
Managing that from a time basis is very easy. But another thing that it really, sometimes we overlook that, but from not only, it really makes it a better way for the employees to provide the service that they're providing, because they know right away when that lane is going to be available. So when a customer comes in, if you are running a waiting list, that you can give that customer, a little bit more accurate time when their lane's going to be available. So it becomes a better experience from the get-go for the customer.
Yeah.
So that's also something to consider, is that it's a little bit less stressful for the staff.
Well, I want to talk about that for reservation point of view. Online reservations are huge, right? Like even if you want to go to race cars, you really need to sign up ahead of time for a race slot, like at an Andretti's type of place. Or if there's a lot of like the trampoline parks, they're all moving to that kind of a system. Right. So what it does for me as a consumer is I can plan my time better. So I know that we're going to be at the racetrack. We need to be there, at 4:45 because our race is at 5, and that usually takes 20 minutes. I don't know, I'm making the time frame up. But from a consumer point of view, I'm more satisfied because I know what I'm expecting when I get there. Now, from an employee point of view, how much more satisfied are they? Well, they know who's coming. They can plan their staffing a little better. I mean, besides walk-ins, we're not talking about that. You'll always handle the walk-ins, but it's better to know that you have this schedule going, and it's much less stress for the employees in the long run.
Absolutely. The other thing, Jay, that I find quite interesting is, from a birthday party standpoint, it's great because you can tell the parents, okay, definitively, you can come pick your children up at,
yeah, we're done at whatever time, right?
Absolutely. So it's really nice from a parent standpoint to know that your party is going to be done at a specific time. And, you can make sure that parents know that up front. So, you're not waiting around waiting for parents to come pick up their children. So, and two, for birthday party purposes, there's a number of other benefits of having.
Oh, yeah. There sure is.
Based on time.
What I wanted to mention about the reservation part is, depending what kind of a system you're using for your online reservations or what kind of a management system you have on the back end at your center, you might even be able to limit the amount of touch points that the customer has to deal with from a transactional point of view. What I mean by that, you might be able to capture all the bowlers' names ahead of time, whether they need the automatic bumpers to come up and down for them when they're bowling. 3 people want them, 2 people don't need them. That's stuff that they would normally have to figure out on the touch screens themselves, going down there to put that in. But you, with the right kind of information asked ahead of time, can have that all planned for them, really. And they walk in, hi, you guys are on lane 12, and you go down and it's all there for them. So they're limiting the interaction they have to have with that touch screen is much less. They can change their games if they want to, that kind of stuff, change their environments, but they're not struggling to get it set up to go.
Right. And that's valuable for them as well.
Because it creates a better customer experience, and what you always say.
Absolutely right. The other thing that I'm just going to address this head on, because I know that, well, first of all, let me say that, now is a good time to make these changes because with the recent pandemic, people expect change. They embrace it. It's that they are okay with it. So it's safe right now to do that. But one of the things that I always hear is, oh my gosh, my customers just will not go for this because
we hear that a lot.
They're going to get sticker shock. What our viewers need to understand is you do not have to base a time-based experience by renting a lane for an hour. You can have that as a per-person experience too. So it's more
with the right management system, you can, yes.
Absolutely.
So instead of saying, it's $50 for the hour of bowling, and that includes, 4 people and whatever, you don't have to do that. You might break that down and say, well, it's $10 a person per hour. You can have up to 6 people on your lane if you choose. There's lots of ways around that, and you can build in packaging for shoes if you choose to, or food pieces with that per hour person to ramp up the perceived value back to the customer. If you put the value proposition on the package deal for the customer, they're more apt to spend that extra $1, $2 because they're getting a complete experience from it. And that really yields well back to when we used to do the family fun packs. That was the big thing. Oh, we'll get the lane for 2 hours and we get a pizza and a thing and it's only $45, whatever it may be. That seems like a good deal. You can even do that from a per person point of view.
You're so right. And Jay, I want to mention something. If you're not sure and you are currently predominantly game-based, I encourage you to dive into that and take a look and calculate. Do you really know how long it's taken your customers to bowl a game?
Right.
And I think you might be shocked. We recently had a virtual marketing manager customer that was wanting to transition from game to time and weren't real sure if it was worth it because they felt like they were going to get pushback from the customer.
Sure.
And we showed them by simply calculating it, pulling the proper reports, in the systems that allow you to do that, and calculating. And they were absolutely shocked that it was taking anywhere from 18 to 20 minutes for a customer to complete a game of bowling. And when you think about it from that standpoint, if you are able to change that experience and you are able to get that number down to the 10 to 12 minute point, look at the money over the course of a year that you are going to, you're really going to reap the benefit at the end of the year on that. So just throwing that out there. I'm a black and white person. I want to be able to see the advantages. So if you're considering time bowling, you've not done it in the past, I encourage you to really put the pencil to the paper and see where you are at and see how this transition could be beneficial for your center.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Preach it, Dottie, preach it.
I will. And the other thing, I want to go back to one point that I just want to touch on, and that was, if you do look at your packages and you trim them down just a little bit to be able to accommodate more people in your center as a result of your occupancy rate, keep in mind that a lot of these people coming in are brand new bowlers. So if you are turning that lane over every hour, it also means you're getting shoe rental every hour versus every 3 hours. So
it's all about table turns.
You gotta find that low-hanging fruit when you can. So
that's true. Well, that's
Jay,
a good discussion, Dottie.
Yes, absolutely. It only takes one little seed, and if you water it properly, you can really be surprised what it grows into being. So we're hoping that this one little bit of information will just make you stop and scratch your head and go, maybe I should take a good look at this.
Analyze your own business and see what you can take from this conversation today.
I totally agree. And Jay, I can't resist this, but now's the time to get time on your side.
Absolutely. Time is on your side. It's on everyone's side if you allow it to be.
Absolutely. So viewers, take a look and see what it's all about. And if you haven't gone down that road, we encourage you to do so. Until next time, thanks for joining us.
Take care, everyone.